Either they love you, or they hate you, or they gon' judge you. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Welcome back to another great episode of Lingo Ink's Open Mindz. Today we have a beautiful episode called The Dark Night of the Soul. It doesn't sound beautiful, but we have to touch on, certain things that people are going through, especially through, the times that we're in. And we have a magnificent guest here, okay? She is a transformation life healing coach. She deals with a lot. And some of the things she deals with are, she's a licensed massage therapist. She's a medical intuitive, cranial sacral unwinding. She deals with essential oils. She sent me a beard oil. You see the beard? I don't usually grow out a beard, but I grew out a beard, and it smells great. I'm getting compliments. And she deals with theta cell imagery and DNA transformation, energy movement instructor, and she does hypnosis therapy as well, and the list goes on. Okay, so I want everybody to welcome Jill to the show. Everybody give her a round of applause. Make sure y'all check out www.lingoinkboutique.com. Right now I'm wearing that Star Seed line. So shout out to all the Star Seeds, Indigo Children, Crystals. As you can see, I'm wearing the shirt too for all the Star Seeds. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, follow the channel. All love is appreciated. Comment if you resonate with anything. Jill, welcome to the show. Through these times, people, go through some dark times. The dark night of soul can feel like very depressing and in a dark space, and people don't really know how to get out of that. But for you, Jill, you mentioned to me in conversations before that you've gone through a dark night of the soul, and you're a person that actually helps people with this stuff. So I know we live in duality here, so I want you to share with people your experience, and then we'll go into all the things that you do and modalities to help people out in this type of time.
100%. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you for sharing your platform, Open Mindz, with me. I'm super excited. I'm a huge fan. I love your podcast. I love what you're doing in the world. And thank you for allowing me to shed my light on your people.
Gratitude.
Where do we begin?
So we could begin when the time where you've experienced what we call the dark night of the soul, and how you got into it and how you got yourself out.
Okay, easy enough, right? Just open my heart to you, open my mind to you. So yes, I'm sure when people talk about the dark night of the soul, it was something that I had heard amongst the circle that I run with. I've been a student and teacher of the healing arts for over 20 years now. I started off as a massage therapist and quickly started to recognize the connection between the mind and the body, and how what we think about really impacts how we feel in all areas of our life, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And so I was busy doing my work. I was helping others. I had a little day spa in Mesa, Arizona, where I live, and was practicing for about 7 years on my own as a solopreneur, doing lots of things. I had over 30 services on my menu. Yeah, I was busy being all things to all people, working way too hard. So with providing everything from aesthetics services like facials and waxing to massage therapy, and I did get into energy healing work as well as theta healing work with my clients in that in-person setting. And let's see, it was April of 2020. I had just come back from a fabulous family vacation with my two children that I raised by myself. It was a big deal. It was, something that we'd been only able to do the past couple of spring breaks where we were able to travel and have some family time. And when I came back, I was hit with this announcement that all non-essential workers needed to close their businesses and stop operating and go home and be safe and mask up and wear gloves and sanitize and do all these things.
Yeah.
So I had a moment. I didn't know what else to do other than what we were all being told to do, right? So I paused my work for a little bit, just trying to get my bearings. And nobody was coming in anyway. Nobody wanted to come in and have a service or get a massage. It put me into a spiral because of all the work that I had done up until that point to have finally broken through the 5-year. They say as a small business, if you can, break through the 5-year mark, you're on your way. And at that point, it'd been 7 years. And it felt like all the work that I had done, the clientele that I had built, the beautiful space that I worked out of in a higher end area of town that was more of a luxury service, a luxury one-stop shop for mind, body, and soul wellness. To be told as a non-essential person in a health crisis that I had to close my practice made zero sense to me. It felt like washing away a sandcastle I had taken 20 plus years to build in a day. So as you can imagine, and I still have a hard time voicing it because I haven't been able to really. You understand that, right?
Yeah, a lot of people has gone through this, and a lot of people are not even here in this realm anymore. This is how deep this change has been on them. I know it took people in dark places.
It did. And when you invited me to speak about my experience in this dark space, I wanted to share because oftentimes people look at my Facebook or my Instagram for my business and they see what I'm doing now and they think, how did I get here? How am I so happy? How am I so successful? How am I whatever it is that people see. And what I was finding was that people didn't know what I had gone through or where I had come from to have the attitude that I have now. And so I want to give a space for that so that people can see the progression, so that people could see themselves going through what I've gone through and come out the other side and live to tell.
Yes.
Because I know how dark that deep, dark place can be.
Yeah. So basically, you built yourself up to a certain stature, and you kept yourself elevating and ascending within yourself, able to help people out, and duality hits, right? So
Yes.
explain the motions and everything you went through this time, because people go through different times, not just through certain things going on in the world like the viruses and shutting down stuff, but this was your experience where you dealt with the dark night of the soul, feeling hopeless, nowhere to turn. Yeah, it can be a very scary place. So explain how you went through the steps and how you had to deal with your children and all these types of things.
I decided to close my practice. And at first I thought it was temporary. Nobody really knew what was going on. If you were like me, I didn't have a lot of interest in news or politics. I have been a healthy, natural wellness practitioner all these years, so I've always dealt with health and wellness in a specific way. I've always had my herbs, my tinctures, my essential oils, my naturopathic doctors, my Asian theory practice that I worked with, my Chinese medicine doctor. I had all these different types of ways that we would heal and we would deal with illness in our family. So all of a sudden, the news is telling us to do these things for our wellness, supposedly, that I did not agree or get on board with from day one. Because I felt like, wait a minute, if this is a health crisis and I work with wellness, I don't even call it healthcare. I'm a wellness practitioner. I help people work towards creating a healthy lifestyle for themselves so that they don't need the doctor. So for me, all of a sudden I was being told, this is how you deal with your health. This is how we're going to deal with this crisis. You need to close your business. You need to stay safe. You need to stay home. I'm the sole breadwinner of our little family of 3, and all of a sudden I have 0 income. That to me was absolutely shocking. I did not even know what to do to put my mind around that. I remember calling clients, trying my best to reassure them, remember the tools, remember the oils, remember your supplements, get outside, breathe air, get sunlight, take off your mask, all the things. But nobody was listening to me because they were in a state of fear and panic. And so now I've got this son who's 17 years old, and he's now the breadwinner in our house. He's working at a grocery store. He's bringing home groceries. He's bringing home money. He's sharing what he earns to help us get by. So that's, these are layers. I'm building layers.
Yeah. This is your
Because I've
experience.
got tools.
Yeah.
I've got tools. I've read the books. I've done the workshops. I've got the certifications. I'm supposed to be able to help people through these moments.
Yeah, and this is what this life is. So it shows if someone like you that does this and you are obviously able to go into, have a dark night of the soul moment for whatever's going on. It could have been a
Yeah.
breakup, it could have been, these things going on in the world, but it
Mm-hmm.
shows people because a lot of people think that, they may be the only ones going through this because of like what you said, your smile and that. So people, the perception of it is like, it shows that maybe they're not, but this is a real story, and you've actually put it out here to tell people. So what better way but through experience to help people?
Thank you.
You're
And it didn't
welcome.
feel like this at the time. At the time, it felt like doom and gloom, death and despair. What do I do? Who am I? I mean, I did not have any idea what was next. I'm sure a lot of people felt like that. And even if for one moment I believed the narrative that we were being force fed, this 3-course meal of fear and panic, day in and day out, even if for one moment I believed that it was all true, I still had such a hard time around what we were being told to do. And so I felt rebellious. I felt angry. I felt robbed of my livelihood. I felt victimized. I was, right back into my poverty scarcity mindset. I was slammed into this position of helplessness and hopelessness and fear, anxiety, um, and just loss of center, loss of self in those moments. Um, and I was the one my kids were looking to, like, well, what are we going to do and what's next? And I didn't even have an answer for them.
Mm.
And this was before all the supposed handouts and helps. that were gonna come down the road. This was early on. Okay, I managed to take my kids on a vacation and come home to an empty book.
Mm. That's, this is something that a lot of people went through, and think about them not even having the tools that you actually use for your business to help people, and you was going through all this.
Yeah. And I don't think, there was a percentage of people in my life that were not compassionate. They did not understand what this meant for me with my livelihood, how linked my sense of self was to the work that I did, and I think more than anything, that was what really hit me hard. And eventually I surrendered. At first, I was determined to keep the schedule going. I wanted to continue my workouts, even though my gym had closed. I kept walking around the block and going outside and getting fresh air and eating the foods and doing all the things and just like trudging along on my little treadmill of life. And then when I realized I was avoiding what was happening, I had to take a moment and take this, what I call like a sacred pause, and stop everything and just pray. I just got down on my knees and just asked Creator. To me, it's Creator, God, Jesus, universe, Creator. Show me what I am to do. Show me who I am to be. Show me what I am to say. If I am to continue to do your work through me and help others to do their healing and their transforming work, how do I do this without touching people? That was my prayer. How do I do this without touching people?
All praise to the Most High, to our ancestors, guardian angels, whoever you look up to, whatever, higher powers that you look up to. Shout out to them. If those who are listening now, you still here. You made it. A lot of people didn't make it through those times, and beyond just these times, even currently, there's been other times people had dark night of the souls.
Absolutely.
Where they just felt there was no end. They didn't see no refuge or anything or anybody to turn to. Yeah. So basically, you was doing something where you actually work with people and you couldn't work with people physically. Now you're thinking about how I'm gonna do that. So now you ask the higher powers, energy, to help you. And how did it go? Like, what it went from there? Like, well.
Well, I will say this. Just in that moment, taking that pause, taking that surrender. I have a fondness for words, and when you look up surrender, you see it's just giving up the need to control the situation, recognizing that something's out of your hands and being okay with it. That was the hardest thing to do, was to just stop and be with myself and Creator on my knees in prayer position. Ugly Oprah cry, snot running down my face. I had my head on the ground at one point. I don't even know how long I was there. But to be able to just release all of that fear that I had been carrying around with me, all of that pain, all of that fear, it just poured out of me. And I felt in that moment like I was held, just held. And I got my answers. And actually, when I listened, when I took time to listen, and when I say listen, it's not like a sound in my ears. It was just a knowing. It was just a knowing that, like, dropped in, like a download. This is what you're going to do. And in that moment, I actually came out of my crying because I thought it was funny. Oh, you're funny. Oh, God's got a sense of humor now. You know,
So what did God
what?
tell you at that time to do?
Well, at the time, and it doesn't make sense. It's still something that I'm figuring out. I think it was breadcrumbs. I saw breadcrumbs, okay? So the first breadcrumb that I was shown had to do with being on YouTube. And again, at this point, I was in person with people. I didn't get on my computer except for to pay bills once a month. I had no social media following other than your general Facebook and Instagram. So for me to see myself on YouTube, I thought, what on earth? That does not make any sense to me. Thank you for the information, but may I speak with your manager, please? Ah, that's not me. That's not what's going to happen. So I tried a bunch of other things. I let the SBA help me out. That came in the nick of time. Uh, there were some things that I started reading. There were workshops I started taking, and I was able to pull myself out of the hole, knowing that there was a next step. There was something that needed my attention. And so I began really studying different things. I started studying Nam Yoga. I started studying meditation and mantra, combining that with hand gestures or mudras, getting into a trance-like state through different types of healing work, theta healing, meditation, and eventually hypnosis. And just leaning hard into what is next. I had to let go of what I had been doing on such a deep level. And it turned out that I truly was doing way too much. I didn't realize how much what I was doing in my career had become out of alignment with my real true purpose and vision. And I had just kept going at the pace that life had kept me at and didn't stop and take time to assess whether or not I even loved what I was doing anymore or whether or not I was really helping people. I realized I was being a band-aid on the solution for their pain. Because if my clients are going through that level of pain, a massage is not going to cut it.
Mm.
It might make them feel better for a minute, right?
Mm-hmm.
Massages are great. I'm a fan. Okay, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I wanted to be able to truly help guide them through what I was going through, get them to that next level so that they are out of discomfort in these areas of their life, whether it be physically, mentally, or emotionally, to help support and guide them the way I was now being supported and guided. Really allowed me to release the chokehold I had on my life, the fear that kept me going at the pace that I had been living at, and allowed me to open up to greater possibilities and purpose when it came to my calling and really living my purpose and being in my dharma.
What was the experience of going through a dark night of the soul when you have children? So it's not only yourself, you have to figure out and get through your own fears and all that, but for the people, what was that like as a parent?
It was really hard because, mind you, kids were pulled out of school at this time. My son was set to graduate high school, 2020, class of 2020. And he graduated without fanfare, without celebration of any kind. And that was heartbreaking. These ceremonies and traditions that we do, they're only as meaningful as you make them. And I think I realized by not having that opportunity to celebrate his victory, because it was a victory getting my son through high school. And I wasn't able to celebrate or honor him in that public way. So he was devastated about all that. And then here's my daughter at the time was 14, and she's doing her best to understand why she can't see her friends. You know, she didn't give a crap that she wasn't in school anymore. She just wanted to see her friends. And I couldn't tell her indefinitely, you know, when this would end, how it would look moving forward, what we could count on. Like, it was a completely blank page. So I did my best to just be honest with them and just tell them as I was discovering things. Okay, so here's another layer. I've got kids that want answers, that want leadership. They want to be able to trust me in my leadership with regards to this. So I started investigating. And that took me down a rabbit hole of truth that I was not prepared for at all. Okay? I will not say the words that are buzzwords that will get us in trouble, Jerry, because I respect your platform and I want it to remain intact.
I mean, you could go around it. You could call it, you know, the hot sauce 19. You could call it,
Yeah.
you know, invincible viruses, you know, stuff like that. But you know, what they said, whoever they are, right? But
Right. Yeah.
right.
Okay, so the narrative that we were being told through our media, because I don't even really have a TV, like most people were, what, Netflixers and Facebook, Instagram, YouTubers? Okay, so the information that was coming through mainstream sources of news were all saying the same things. Don't go out, don't be around others, social distance, wear the face diaper, get the jab. Okay? This was not the way we deal with health and wellness in my family at all. So, of course, I was like, what else you got? And that's what made me start looking down the rabbit hole. And what I found was the propaganda, the agenda, the desire for, I guess, to hypnotize the world with mass formation consciousness. Let's see how far we can push these folks till they're in a place of desperation and are willing to do anything that the government says in order to have their God-given freedoms back. I just didn't know what to do. I didn't have a partner. I was very aware. All of a sudden, this, I got it all, I pay my own bills, I'm a solopreneur, I got my ducks in a row, I don't need a man. All of a sudden, I realize I don't have a partner. I don't have somebody to talk to these things with. You know, I don't have someone to lean on and someone to support me through this time. It was all on me. So, and I know there's a lot of single parents out there, men and women, that were in the same boat, didn't have anyone to lean on, and had these kids looking up at them like, what now? And in the meantime, I'm learning all this horrific plotting and scheming that's been on in the human race for decades. What's actually behind all of this is it was planned and executed. Let's create the solution that we want them to do, by creating a problem that they will have to then choose our magical solution for. Look at that. It's already there.
So basically, there was a lot of uncertainty, doubts, fear, right, Fudd? And then we talk about the loneliness, right? You didn't have somebody to speak to, and then there was the vision. So I bet the dark night, like those are harsh nights too to go
Yeah.
through.
There was a lot of crying in the dark when the kids were asleep. I had it in my mind that I was going to hold it together during the day and be their fearless leader, trying to console them and be there for them in their worry and their time of loneliness and isolation. I have very social children. They missed their friends. They wanted the consistency and the normalcy and the routine that they were used to. And so when they would go to bed, I would go to bed, and I'd often just kind of silently freak out to myself and cry and have communications with God and the angels, creator, just, guide me, support me, show me what I need to do. And every time seemed like at the end of the day, it was just more let go, more surrender. There were times when I wanted to talk to people about my viewpoints and what I was experiencing through my research. Hey, I was unemployed. I had time to look into this when a lot of other people didn't. And so, as you know, discovering the truth is sometimes terrifying.
Well, finding out the truth about self too can be terrifying for some people because they don't know who they are, and when you don't have nothing to look forward to or somebody to look forward to or to talk to anything, some people lean towards substances.
Yes.
And when people have a dark night of soul and all that, some people want to escape, and things like alcohol and drugs or whatever people choose, they tend to go to those things. And not only that, some people choose food.
Yes. I was
A lot of
I
people
had
gain
I
weight.
had yeah, I was on this health journey prior to 2020. I was, working with a trainer in my gym and eating right and doing all the things, right? I had quit smoking in 2018. And so here I was, like, on my little path to health and wellness, and then everything stopped. And my go-to was peanut butter M&Ms. I had the biggest bag you could buy. I was
Sugar,
popping those like this.
sugar is a drug now. Sugar is one of the biggest drugs they have out there. Caffeine also.
Yeah. So yeah, I definitely was doing some emotional eating, definitely some tuning out with the binge watching, Netflixing when I wasn't in deep study or prayer or dealing with my kids. I just wanted to check out. I just wanted to wait for everything to go back to normal. And it did not. Because I think once you go through something like that and you discover, see, my truth, okay, so there's the truth, which is the agenda for humanity, which we can talk about another time. But the
Right.
truth I discovered was I was not living up to my potential. I had been coasting for way too long on modalities that I was comfortable using because they felt really good and people liked me and they liked my work and they sung my praises all day long. But then they went back to the same unhappy lives that they had been living until the next time, until the next massage, right? And I wanted more. I wanted more for me and I wanted more for them. And nobody wants to stop mid-career and learn something new and completely uproot their life. It was like somebody pulled the rug completely out from underneath what I knew, and I had this blank slate to create something that would be even bigger and more amazing than what I had before. But at the time, it looked like chaos and fear and devastation and despair and hopelessness and loneliness.
And you made it. So, what could you say? Obviously, you redirected, you transmuted all of that fear and low vibrations, and you know what you got was like going on YouTube was it wasn't making sense, so you figured out other things to learn to build yourself up from all that you've already built from. If you could go through that to get yourself out of that space into a new space.
Yeah, so one of the things that I had begun studying prior to 2020 was yoga. I was learning how to become a Nam yoga instructor and listening to the mantras by Dr. Joseph Michael Levery. You got to look up his stuff. It's amazing what his work is. Had started a daily practice of that. That was what helped me to originally say goodbye to tobacco. And so I reminded myself when I really felt like, okay, enough. I cannot be in this state of despair anymore. I have to pull myself out. There's no one else that's going to do it. And I was at the time too proud to even ask. Who would I even ask? You know? So I just started relying on my tools. I started listening to my meditations every single day. And what that does is it helps you to open up your own inner wisdom, your own inner knowledge, and your own inner discernment. And that's a word of the day, right? Discernment.
That's the word of the decade. That's what I think.
Yeah, so I started to be able to hear that more when I would take these quiet moments for myself. People talk about meditation like you got to be completely still and quiet in your mind, sitting on a mountaintop in full lotus in order to become enlightened and aligned. And that is not true. That is not true. There's a reason why monks are monks, okay? They don't have to come off the dang mountain and deal with everyday shit like the rest of us.
Right. I mean, meditation to me is just a meeting with yourself, as simple as blocking out all the distractions, the TV, media, other people, and coming back to yourself, which we wasn't really indoctrinated or programmed to do, and just really think where we're at with ourselves, what we're thinking about, and all that, instead of other people's thoughts and ideas, and just being in peace and quiet, other than just what's going on and all these distractions. So you can go on a hike, you go on a walk, and you can go in a room by yourself in the dark, but we wasn't conditioned to do that. So as a collective, so yeah, she's correct.
So yeah, just started spending more quality time with my mind, with my heart, with myself, and with Creator. And in these moments, I was listening to mantras, which they sound like songs with ancient words, Sanskrit, different India languages, ancient languages that activate that pineal gland where your third eye resides. And the more I would sing along with these chants, and my tongue would hit the roof of my mouth in a certain way while I'm relaxed, while I'm breathing, and allowing this sound to pass through my body, it just started attuning me and aligning me to my own truth, my own wisdom, my own knowingness. And I started to believe that I could get through this, that there is something on the other side, right? And so, like air, I did not let up on my yoga practice. I kept with the guided meditations, the mantras, the songs. And eventually, I was I was kind of following the nudges, right? Like, follow this coach to learn how to take your practice online, right? So now I'm seeing advertisements for someone like me that had built a brick and mortar practice, and now all of a sudden they're online. I met my hypnotherapist, Mary Lou Rodriguez, who took her online, her in-person, the therapist couch situation. She took her practice and put it online. She lived in another state, and I was able to work with her on Zoom. So I started being exposed to other practitioners. My theta healer worked on Zoom at this point. She's in another state. She'd been working with me since 2012, and I still wasn't catching it then, but I'm seeing it now. Oh my gosh. You can do theta healing on Zoom. You can do coaching on Zoom. You can do hypnotherapy on Zoom. Okay, let's learn. So now it's like, okay, creator, how am I going to learn this? Well, the SBA, here's some money. Go reinvest in your education. Get yourself out of this rut. There were other things that I applied for that I received, but it was because I had this determined attitude that I must survive this and thrive through this. I must take care of myself. I must take care of my children. It was the strong will, the human will to survive is amazing and limitless.
It sounds like you did a lot of alchemy too, because you
Yeah.
transmuted the negative into positive, and in a way, being in the dark night of soul is a positive too, because in order to know what light is, we have to experience the dark. Vice versa, the yin and the yang, the polarity, the duality, right? And so
100%.
now it's basically focusing attention on what we can do instead of what we can't do.
Yes.
And that's what you've done. And that's what everybody
Yes.
at home has to realize, that there is the other side. We have balance. It's always great to have balance. So, but where you're teetering on makes the difference. Are you teetering more on the negative or more on the positive? So sometimes people are tipping the scale too much on the negative, they crash out, which some people have, especially going through a dark night of soul. There's no they feel there's no remedy, there's nothing to this and this and that. But I have to give gratitude to you and everybody that's done the work, went deep within inside themselves, are aware to do the work, because this realm is it's not that easy. It's a game for real, but we're here to win. So Jill, what can you offer the people as far as services that are going through these dark times, in case they still, because I'm assuming people are still going through things right now, because there are major changes going on in the world. We're in a different timeline right now. There's a major shift happening. So
Yeah.
either you're going to shift to the left, to the right, or down or up, whichever way.
Yeah, I think the first thing that started to work for me was getting out of the fear. Okay? And I know this is like a big ask, but turn off your televisions. Turn off your news. unfollow some people for a minute. Give yourself the gift of yourself and focus in on what you would want to see for yourself, your family, and your future. No offense, but forget about humanity for a damn second, okay? Focus on you. How can I calm myself down and be present for just a moment, right? And what I realized was part of my tool set was the ability to do this. And so once I calmed down, I was able to get creative. I was able to tap into my discernment. I was able to get back to my positive attitude that I had trained myself to have all these years, right? And the tools that I used to pull myself out of the despair and into the realm of possibility was altered consciousness healing work. And I really dove deep into it this year by becoming certified as a hypnotherapist, because I feel like hypnosis is an altered consciousness tool that allows you to become relaxed and allows you to focus on what it is that you really do want for your life. And so we are powerful creators of our experience. As above, so below. So if your life is in turmoil and chaos and you are going through your own personal hell, I ask you to stop for just a moment and take time to be with yourself. And because it worked so well for me, I want to provide your guests, my guests, that are going to tune in later, with a free gift. This is just my gift to those of you that will be willing to listen and tune in for now and forever. Yes. If you follow me on Instagram, it's Essential Healing Works, and I'm Jill Batista.
It's on the screen.
Yeah.
So you could follow her. Make sure you like all her stuff, and her the website is on the screen as well. Essential Healing Works. And what do they have to do to get this gift?
So follow me on Instagram and send me a private message and say, hey, I saw you on Open Minds. I want that free meditation to calm the F down. So you'll drop your email.
Hey.
Open Minds/calm down, and I will know what to send you.
That's amazing. So I'm about to go do that, because I need to calm down sometimes too. So I'm about to go and get that free meditation myself. Okay? And she has so many other modalities, essential oils. As you can see in the beard, I have, her beard oil. There's so much stuff that she offers. So make sure you tune in and tap in with her. Okay? We like to, thank her for being on the show. Everybody give her a round of applause. Make sure y'all go check out the latest apparel for men, women, and children on www.lingoinkboutique.com. Follow on IG at Lingo Ink. Make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel. This podcast is all on all major podcast platforms, so you can listen on Spotify or whichever. All love is appreciated. Until the next time, peace and love and abundance to you all.
Peace and love to you.
Either they love you or they hate you, or they gon' judge you. It is what it is. 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 Being your own, living
living your truth. All these egos and pride got something to prove. I got my diva inside, cooped in a coop. Keep your feelings inside. I do what I do, I move how I move, choose what I choose. Third eye's active in motion, magnificent views. There's too many options, so much to choose. What is for me is just not what's for you. Vice versa, let it all go, most of it's not worth it. Just stay focused on your goals and life purpose. Be a student of this life and never stop learning. Never stop learning, nah. There's some shit you just gotta accept. Your reality is created by the thoughts in your head. You.
Told me stay focused.
My girl told me stay focused.
My homie told me stay focused. Fuck what them haters say. Keep stacking that paper and kick